So, guys, I have decided to do a review on one of my current obsessions, and that is a Netflix original show called The Stranger Things, and it is amazing. So, how this show begins is with four kids playing D&D, and I mean like the classic old school first edition D&D. And the way to my heart in a TV show, it starting off with some young kids playing D&D. And I don't know why. Maybe it's because I was a young kid playing D&D as a kid, and I still currently play D&D, but whatever. It's just a way, it's like my nostalgia factor automatically goes up. And I loved it. And it was beautiful. And Michael was like a great DM doing the whole like shebang. Michael's the DM, by the way, but he's doing the whole shebang. And it's just, uh, it gets my heart going. But that's how the show begins. But then you go to the plot where Will and is going home. He's going home after that great D&D session that never quite finished because parents tend to ruin your D&D sessions by coming in when all your friends are there and then you just have to awkwardly leave. They do that. I don't know why. You've been planning this game for like months, but they do it. And they tell you to get out, go out to dinner, play real games, whatever. This is what happened. So Will goes home and sees something he really wished he shouldn't have seen. And when he saw it, the thing that he shouldn't have seen, aka a monster, went off and took him to another place. Hence the beginning of the show. So really, the whole show focuses on the three kids, Michael, Dustin, and Lucas, who meet this girl named 11 who has powers, and they are all trying to find Will. It's a very much has this Goonie-esque feel to them. I don't really know how to explain it. It feels like an adventure storyline when you follow these four kids. But there's also a side storyline, well, a few side storylines, where it's the mom of Will, Joyce, aka Rona Ryder, and Jim Hopper, who are trying to figure out what happened to Will. Like, if it's a government conspiracy, if the monster is like just something that happens, or if Joyce is just crazy, because Joyce at this point is like seeing what is it called? She's seeing Will like through her walls and through lights and stuff, which, yeah, you know what, it's understandable. I would think she's a crazy bitch too. I'm just saying. Okay. And so that whole storyline is more of a detective kind of storyline. And then you have a third side storyline, which is follows Jonathan, who is Will's brother, Nancy, who is Michael's sister, and this guy named Steve, who's the douchebag, the jock. You always gotta have one in the show. And oh my god, does he look like he needs to go back to the 70s greaser. Well, 60s. It's 50s. 50s greaser. If you looking like the 50s in a show that's set in the 80s, you getting problems. I don't understand how this kid's popular with the ladies. I would not go near him. I wouldn't go near Jonathan either, but I wouldn't go near Steve. Anyway, so it follows their storyline, and this is the great thing about this show. It kind of has a mixture of everything. Tell you the truth, the kids' storyline is my favorite. I love a good adventure mystery tale with kids. I don't know why. It reminds me of the Goonies. It reminds me, I can't think of another show right now which follows a lot of kids, which is kind of depressing because I'm looking at my DVD shelf, which is covered in all of those movies. Like, I have Monster House. I guess Monster House, Sandlot. I love those types, kids going off and doing bad shit stories, right? So that's one that's really, really good. And then it has like the teenage angst storyline. Like, it kind of reminds me of Twin Peaks, where it's like really dramatic and blah 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 blah. So they have your teenage angst storyline, and then you have your classic detective storyline with the cop who is too old for the job, who lost everything, who's an alcoholic and druggie, and then you have the mom who has suffers from anxiety disorder, who has a husband who's just like a douchebag and only is there for the money, and like blah blah blah, never there for his kids. And that is just like amazing that you can just, and they blend so nicely. All these storylines, they're not just jumbled and mixed together. They all flow and interconnect, and like I love it. I love that. Like even though they're three completely different storylines, they all kind of follow the same thing. And now on to the downsides about Stranger Things. And there are a few downsides. Like the last two episodes of the show, a lot of plot holes. Luckily, they have a season two, so I can forgive it. But still. Also, the 11, her character was great. I love her character and everything. She's the girl with superpowers. She was a test experiment, blah, blah, blah. You figure this all in the first episode, so not really a spoiler. But you kind of get the gist of what she is in the first episode. It's fairly obvious. But she's cool, but her interaction with some of the kids felt a little bit forced, especially with Michael, and a little bit even with Lucas. I felt like it was a little bit forced at times, like the angst or the friendship wise, but still good. I love the teacher with the science teacher. He was amazing. If you watch the show or have watched the show, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, really, the last two episodes is kind of like, and most of the time, though even this, I love storylines where the ending is kind of ambiguous. Like, like you kind of have to guess what happens, or you kind of fill in your own thing, like you fill in your own plot hole for it and everything. So I liked it, but I can see why many people, well, I shook the table, wouldn't. So yeah, just be wary of that going in. It's also very creepy and very dark. There are a lot of deaths and cussing if you're not into that, but I don't really give a shit. So, Avi. So, yeah, highly recommend it, guys.